Hey everybody, how's it going? Kyle here with another lesson, and today we are doing Christmas lights. This is a tutorial I did a few years back. However, I feel like it wasn't that accurate as to what Chris plays, so I recently went through and watched a ton of different footage, specifically the one of him playing in the Beehive. I actually AI upscaled that footage and then enhanced it, just messed with the contrast and the exposure, and just to see kind of what he's playing here. Now, if you already know this song, especially from my lesson, this first half of the song is going to be the same thing. It's more so that second half with the chorus. That's what's going to change. But that being said, I'm going to go ahead and teach the whole thing anyway. So starting off with that intro, here's middle C. Left hand, you're playing two notes, G and D. And you're just going to play those twice. But you're going to play that 4 times. Right hand, got to come up here to this G, and you're just going to walk down with individual notes. So it's going to be G, F sharp, and then B, C, D. And then you're playing that left hand in between all of those. So starting off with the right hand. And then just end with that G and D. All right, now we get down to the main riff. Show you the right hand first. It's just D and G, single note A, and then D and B. Just that, pretty simple. Left hand here is doing a little bit more work. So you're going to start off with G octaves, then move up to single B note, down to single D, F sharp, and just repeat. So G, B, D, F sharp. Playing that with the right hand. So you're starting off left and right hand together, then you finish the right hand off, and then just continue with the left hand. Repeat that 3 times. This 4th time, show you the right hand first. Right hand is going to be D and G together. And then pretty much all single notes. You're going to walk up, you're going to go D, G, D, and then walk down to B, A, G, D. Now sometimes, depending on the part of the song, I'll add this D in with this D here. So left hand's pretty simple. It's just E octaves up to F sharp octaves. So how you play that? So it's right hand first, D and G, followed by left hand E octaves. Then you finish off, or keep going with that right hand, and then once you hit this B, that's when you jump to the F sharp octaves. And just finish off that right hand. So that first left hand is by itself right after that first right hand chord. And the left hand right there with B. And that is it, and then you just go back to the beginning, same thing. This time though, same thing, but instead of playing E and then F sharp in your left hand, you're going to play C and D. Everything else is the same. Like I said, usually for this intro right here, where there's no lyrics, I'll play this lower D with the high D right there. So there's the intro right there, and then we get into that first verse. Same thing, but instead of playing G octaves, just play this single note G here, and play it a little bit softer. same thing with that E and the F sharp. No octaves, just this higher note here, and then same thing for that C and D. So you repeat that until you get to Still Waiting for the Snow to Fall. That part sounds like this. Alright, so similar pattern here. Left hand playing C, G, C. Right hand doing a similar thing to that first part, but you're playing D and F sharp. Then going up to a single note G, and then D and B. So play that 3 times. And the 4th time, just switch that B to an A. So D, F sharp, G, and then D and A. Then left hand goes from C, G, C to D and A. And the left hand, I'm pretty much just playing the entire chord, and then just bouncing back and forth between my pointer finger and my thumb, so G and C. And then we get right back into that main riff. So that lower left hand note comes back in. And then right here, small change as well. You're going to be playing this D note, pretty much keeping with the tempo of the song. So it might be a little bit challenging to do at first, but once you get that main riff down and you can play that, just kind of focus on adding that in there. Everything else is the same. We have that E and then F sharp, and then C and D. Then we get into the first verse, which sounds like this. Alright, so starting off we have 4 simple chords with a few variations here. First chord is E minor, left hand E octaves, right hand E, G, B, E. Now in the videos I've seen, his left hand is actually usually closer to his right hand, so he's probably playing an E minor in there as well. So you can do that if you'd like to. It's just E, G, B in that left hand. Either or works. So there's your first chord. Second chord, pretty easy transition for that right hand. You're just moving this B up to a C, keep everything else. E, G, C, E, that's your C chord. Left hand is C, G, C. And before moving on to the next chord, small variation here, you're just going to take these E's in the right hand and just move them down to D. So right hand is now D, G, C, D. So that part from the beginning. So up above candles. Kind of just bouncing the hands back and forth. So they flicker and they float. So on float is when you move those E's down to D. And then your third chord, G chord, left hand is G, D, G, right hand B, D, G, B. So and I'm up here holding on that part. Then your fourth chord. Down to a D chord, left hand D octaves. Right hand is B, D, F sharp, B. So it's chandeliers. And another variation of hope. Move these B's down to A's. Keep everything else. Then we repeat that, so like some drunken Elvis singing, same thing. This time right here though, so right there, move those E octaves up to G, or if you're playing an E minor chord, you're kind of already playing G right there, that's why I usually play octaves. That's like some drunken Elvis singing. This part, a little bit of a change. Left hand goes to C, G, C like normal. Right hand is going to go to G, C, D, F sharp. And this is singing out of tune. And you're going to go on tune. You're going to move this F sharp up to G. So singing out of tune, or tune if you're British. Then back to that third chord as normal, that G chord, same thing as before. So, and I always will. So same thing twice for that verse, just that second time you're making that change with the that left hand. Just hitting those G octaves. And then that tune part, you're just playing that different chord on the right hand. Everything else though is the same. So next we get back into the same thing. You're still waiting for the snow to fall. It's that same exact thing. Then sometimes right here, when he plays that D and A, the right hand, he doesn't play that F sharp sometimes. He'll just play D and A or D and G. Kind of varies on the performance. Alright, so once you get done playing that melody twice, we get back into the main riff, which sounds like this. So there is a bit of a change there in the left hand. You're following the same pattern with the right hand. So right here you're going to play, you're pretty much just moving the octave part instead of just playing G's over and over. You're moving those octaves down. So it's going to be G, F sharp, and then E. But you're keeping everything else the same, so that B and D still stay. And then right here, instead of playing C and D, you're going to play B and D. And then you land back on those C octaves, right hand, that normal riff. And you can either play those C octaves down here, or you can come up here. So. Play that riff like normal. And then we get into the next part, which sounds like this. So all it is right there. That's why I kind of like actually transitioning to this C right here, the C, G, C, like usual, because now your right hand just changes. Left hand stays where it is. So left hand is C, G, C, right hand is E, A, E. You play that 4 times. Left hand, small change. Pinky comes up to D, plays D, G, C. Right hand, you're going to move E's down to D's. And then keep this A, but also add a G in there as well. So left hand D, G, C. Right hand D, G, A, D. Alrighty, now we get into the chorus, which sounds like this. Alright, so this is the part in the intro I mentioned where I definitely get it wrong with my first tutorial in my lesson, or my cover a few years ago, and I feel like no one on YouTube has really taught it this way that Chris plays it, so I've tried my best to figure out what he's playing here. I feel like I have it for the most part, but there might be a few things here and there that are a little off, just because I can't really see what he's playing. So we're going to start off with that part we just ended on. So left hand right here stays the same, D, G, C. Your right hand's going to move up to play B, D, B. And you're going to play that twice. So those Chris, and then on Mus, you're going to move down to A, C, A. Keep that left hand the same. Then on lights, right hand is pretty much where it needs to be, but you're going to move to B, D, G. Left hand shifts up to G, D, G. So those Christmas and then lights. And then right here, I'm going to show you the octaves first for this part, and we'll go back and add a middle note in there. So basic octaves. Left hand first, so G octaves. Down to E, then C, followed by B. So G, E, C, B. Right hand, B octaves, down to G, down to E, and then D. So B, G, E, D. And a good pattern here to remember is your left and right hand are going to stay one white key away from each other. So you're starting off G and B, E and G, C and E, and then B and D. So right there, you're one white key away. And that's light up the street. So that middle note I was talking about, usually I'll just play that middle note when starting the chord, or starting that little walk down and then ending it. So right there, so on light, I'll keep that D in the middle for the left hand. Then right hand, same thing, D in the middle. So light, and then up the, just playing basic octaves. Then when I get down to street, so light up the street. Left hand just octaves, right hand, I'll throw a G in there. But this is the part I mentioned, it's hard to see what he's playing. When he walks down, he might be doing just octaves as well. He might have a middle note in there too. So if you want to have a middle note in there, what you can do is for the right hand, so B, D, B, and then G, B in there. And then for the E's, a G in there. And then for the D's, G in there as well. And it's not super challenging, but I just find myself personally making mistakes when trying to hit all three of those notes. At the time of recording this lesson, I haven't recorded my cover yet, so I may do that in my cover if I practice enough, just so you're aware. But yeah, so if you want to make it easier on yourself, you can just do octaves. And then when you land, you can add that middle note back in there. But if you want to challenge yourself, make it sound a little bit more fuller, you can add that third note in there on the right hand. So there's light up the street. Now for the next part, once again, going to go over the octaves first. Same pattern here, you're one white key away from each other. Left hand is E octaves, up to G, then up to B, then C. So E, G, B, C. Right hand, G, B, D, E. That's down where the C, so down where the C. Now I'll go over those middle notes in that right hand. So right here, you can add a B in the middle right there. So down, where, D in the middle of the B's. And for the D octaves, you can add a G in the middle. And then right here, so C, add that G in there. Left hand, I have a G in here as well now. So C, and then and city, you're going to move these E octaves down to D's. Keep everything else. So C and city. And then on meet, left hand, you're just going to move this C down to a B, this C up to a D to play a G chord. So C and city, and then meet, D, G, B. So I'm going to play that entire part nice and slow with the middle notes, just so we can kind of rewind and just go over that one more time, because that part does repeat. So starting back from that chord. Alright, now it's a little bit of a change. So now we're, if this walking down is the first part, and this walking up is the second part, we're going to repeat that right here for May All Your Troubles Be Gone. So same exact thing. May all your troubles. Now right here, instead of coming down to D's in the right hand, we're going to move up, so left hand goes to single note E, right hand G octaves. So may all your troubles soon go back to C, left hand, right hand E, G, E, and soon be gone. Going to move to an E minor chord in both hands, E, G, B. And then O Christmas, move the E down to D in both hands. Then lights. Left hand goes to G, D, G. Right hand B, D, B. And then keep. Left hand thumb goes to A. Right hand C octaves. And then go back to that chord. Keep, shine. And then ning, left hand, single note D, right hand F sharp octaves, left hand G and D, right hand G, B, G. Alright, so coming from May All Your Troubles Soon Be Gone, nice and slow. Then we repeat everything we just did, same exact thing. So go to that chord, the D, G, C, right hand is B, D, B, same thing. Same thing. So then we get to And All My Troubles Will Be Gone, right here. Oh Christmas Lights, same thing. Alright, so you repeat the chorus twice. Then we get to this little riff right here. It sounds like this. Alrighty, so for this part here, there may be a few different variations depending on the performance, the concert. This is kind of just the basic album version. I'm just going to teach you that. But we're going to go from the Keep Shining On. So right here, left hand, play G, D, G. And then in both left and right hand, left hand's going to be octaves, right hand single note. You're going to play F sharp, G, A, F sharp, G. So, and then right here, gonna go over some chords in the left hand first. First chord G, D, G, B. Next chord C, G, C. And you're actually gonna alternate between those two a few times. But your third chord is E minor, E, G, B. And the final chord, D, F sharp, A. But those are your four main chords right there. Now going over the right hand, you're just following that first chord. So D, G, B. Then right hand, you're just moving down from the highest note to the lowest note. Then everything here is counted in sixes. So pretty much you're playing the riff 6 times. But for this first part, you're playing it 4 times before switching to the second chord. So starting off, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you switch left hand, C, G, C. Right hand is going to go to E, G, C. Play that twice. So once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So you're just playing that twice, and you're going back to that G, playing it 6 times. Then playing C 6 times. Back to G, playing that 6 times. Back to C, playing that 6 times. So you're alternating between the G and the C a few times, and you change to E minor once you get to the end of the chant. So in your left hand, you're pretty much just changing when you change after 6 times, but you can hear it too as he's kind of playing. You're kind of playing it with tempo toward the end. So right here, you're going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You're pretty much playing it that first time, leaving a space for 2 beats or 2 measures or whatever, and then playing it with that those last 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So on 4, 5, and 6, you're playing that left hand chord. And right here, so oh, I can't sing, but right here. So once you get to the end of the chant, that's when you switch to E minor. So left hand goes to that E minor chord, E, G, B. Right hand, same thing, E, G, B. And you're just playing the same thing. So same thing, playing it 6 times. And then your left hand on that 6th chord, you can actually move this G down to an F sharp. Before going back to G. Playing that 4 times. Before going to D, F sharp, A in the left hand, same thing in the right. We're just walking down. And then just ending on G. Alright, I'm going to play that part nice and slow now, just to make sure I get everything across correctly. So starting from the Keep Shining On. So just remember you're switching back and forth between that G chord and the C chord for most of the time. And then once you get to that, the end of the chant, that's when you get to the E minor. You just end with the that G chord 4 times. Then end with a D, F sharp, A twice before landing on that G chord. Alright, so now we repeat the chorus once again. Small change here though for the beginning and the end. I'm not going to play the entire thing just because it's only a small change here. So for Oh Christmas Lights, this first part, starting off left hand G, D, G, right hand B, D, B. So it's O. And Chris, left hand B, G, B, right hand D, G, B. Sorry, D, G, D. And then Mus, left hand C, G, C, right hand E, G, E. So once again, that's O, Chris, Mus, and then Lights. We're back to the chorus already. So same thing. So light up the fire. Fireworks. And then in me. And then may all your troubles. This is where it changes right here. So before we went down to E with the right hand. Now it's going to be F sharp. So may all your troubles soon. So same thing. Left hand goes back down to C, right hand is the F sharp. And then be gone, you're going to end on E minor. E, G, B in both hands. Alright, now for the ending, sounds something like this. Alright, so this is the part I had a hard time decoding, so I'm really not 100% sure on this accuracy-wise, but this is what I play. So starting off in that, kind of just doing a single note for the left hand. You can do octaves if you'd like. I just do single. So right here, left hand, single note G, right hand B, D, B. And then come down, left hand B, right hand D, G, D. And then shift up, left hand C, right hand E, G, E. And then end on left hand G and D, right hand G, B, G. So it's just O, Christmas lights. And then keep shining on. Left hand A, right hand just C octaves. So you move down, left hand G, right hand B, D, B. So keep, shy, then ning. Left hand D, right hand F sharp octaves. And then on, left hand G and D, right hand G, B, G. Alright, now on to the riff at the end. Left hand I play D, G, right hand B, D, B. Play that twice. The second time I leave out that D in the left hand. Next part, left hand F sharp, right hand A octaves. Down to left hand E, right hand G octaves, and then go right back. Left hand, D and A. Not together, but just D and then A. And then finally, left hand A, right hand C octaves. Left hand G, right hand B, D, B. Left hand D, right hand F sharp octaves. And then end, left hand G and D together, right hand G, B, G. And then album version, I think he just ends with this G and D chord in the left hand. Live, he might go down to G octaves. Right hand, add a D in there and play a full G chord. Kind of varies. But that is Christmas Lights. So as I mentioned, I went through that video for the past couple weeks and just tried to figure out exactly what he was playing. I feel like it's 90% there. There might be a few things here and there, like I said, for the chorus, if you're having trouble. I usually just default to octaves, but I think that third note is actually in there. It's, once again, just hard to tell. So if you guys have anything that you do you think sounds better or something you figured out, please leave it in the comments below so others can see it and give it a try themselves. But that is it for Christmas Lights. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a happy Christmas. If you don't celebrate, happy holidays. Hope you're staying safe, staying well. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been an amazing 6 months since I've been back doing these tutorials, and I'm looking forward to next year doing a lot more tutorials and some other fun things as well. So once again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.